Well, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. To myself, Oxchair, on the show this evening. It's young Robert and Bridgeman. Evening, boys.
Evening, Ox. Evening, Bridge.
Evening, Robert. Evening, Oxchair, and evening to you two lovely guys in the background, techie boys.
Lovely.
Oh, aye, well, of course they're lovely. They do a lot of things for me, I'll tell you.
One of them's lovely. I'll give you that.
Well, now you're racking my mind here trying to think what one you're talking about.
I'd say one of them's. I would say one of them's. I'll give you a clue. 4 letters, starting with C.
One of them's one of them, is he?
Cute. Cute, Robert. Cute.
That's exactly the word I was thinking.
Oh, you liar.
How you doing, Bridge?
I'm okay, pal. Thanks very much. I'm okay. Getting there. Marching on.
Robert, everybody safe? Your household, mate? Bit of a storm came in the west.
Yeah, quite a windy night, mate. Lost a bit of guttering, but other than that, all good.
Bridgeman, how's the castle?
The castle's okay. It was really windy up here, I must admit. But I mean, over probably 14, 15 hours it was blowing, and it was high wind. And they were letting you know that the garage doors were getting rattled and everything, you know.
It was a bit of a storm. There was a bit of a storm on Saturday night when we played that game, Robert, huh?
If you could see it, mate, the pictures weren't great at all from Viaplay, were they? The rain on the cameras, but no, we seemed to weather the storm pretty well in the end and ran out comfortable winners.
Yeah. By the way, there will be a story coming up tomorrow night. I'm no one for spreading gossip, as you well know, Bridgeman. However, it concerns somebody getting into the game, a man with a high-vis jacket on, somebody ending up in the tunnel, pies, and missing goals. There's a bit of drama will come out tomorrow night, yeah?
The drama. High-vis jackets, brilliant. Love it.
This is the truth. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I think Robert touched on the fact that there was no VAR. I don't know why there was no VAR. I don't know.
They've not got the facilities at these grounds.
No, I'm saying I don't know why it is, but obviously they should be thinking again about playing against league teams.
Stand that, Robert, and it's a good point the Bridge makes. I mean, if you're going to have a competition, you could have a decision where somebody goes out. But if it was on VAR, they might know about it. So you've got to be the rules of the competition, but it should be the same all the way through. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And probably more so in fairness to the weird teams down in divisions like Dumbarton that don't have the finances or the facilities to have VAR. So for a fair and impartial tournament, then it would be better to have it not included at all, no matter what ground it's played at, in my opinion.
I don't disagree with you, Bridge.
Yes, of course, the level playing field is to be honest, the level playing field is a must from a rules perspective. Rules and regulations, there it's there. If we can't have it done, you know, in the first 4 rounds and anywhere, then we shouldn't have it anywhere for the rest of it, and that's the truth. So then
you could have a situation, Bridge, where you get the quarterfinals and there's 2 lower teams in it. They get drawn at home, and you've no get VAR at their grounds and get VAR at the other teams.
Absolutely. And what about the fact that they may get into the quarterfinals? I was thinking the semi-finals are all played at Hampden, aren't they?
Aye.
But that shouldn't be dependent on the ground. It should be dependent on these things should be dependent on the club and what's happening. But yes, I think a lot of things. Surely a lot of heads are going to sort of get together and see what they can do. You know, it's just not right. You know, it just isn't right. You know, in the same round, you get some clubs. You're right, getting through, and the referees made the decision, and it was a wrong decision, and blah 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 blah. But there's nobody there to be honest and support them or otherwise. You know.
That's a good point you make. Honesty. Anyway, so we get back to the game, Robert. Atrocious conditions for players and spectators alike, yeah?
Yeah, we knew it was going to be blustery, mate, but I think that was even beyond what we would have predicted, and we were sitting on Friday night wondering if it was going to even be on. More so with the cold snap and the frost, but the wind and the rain, it was absolutely a nightmare to play in. But the pitch as well didn't help. It looked very, very heavy, and you could see it digging up right away. And it wasn't great conditions to play on, but again, they weathered that storm pretty well eventually throughout the game.
And Mr. Clement, he paid the competition and the opposition respect. Pretty much for first 11, apart from arguably Jack Butland, as we sit this now, for being honest, Bridgeman.
Yeah, I think so. I believe that our manager is very good that way. He's a football man. It's difficult to be anything but honest and up front when you're a football man, you know. Because, I mean, Dumbarton played, I thought they played quite well, and they were quite obstinate in their defence. But you know, that's the way they were playing. Every man behind the ball at times, you know. So, and they did it well. They cut Rangers down a wee bit, you know. But eventually, it turned out that way. It turned out for us, you know. Eventually, well done, Mr. Pramall. Well done, you know.
The game started, and we started on the front foot. If I'm being honest, Robert, yeah.
Yeah, we had the intentions obviously to try and kill the game quite early on, and you could see that from the minute the whistle blew. The intensity was pretty high, and trying to get up the pitch, pen Dumbarton in, and try and find the gaps in between the lines. And a few kind of chances before the goals obviously came, but again, the conditions probably took a while for the players to adapt and find their feet, find the correct ball and the weight and things. So comfortable beginning.
And the ball seemed to keep finding Dessers in front of goal. And I imagine, Bridgman, there might have been a few speeders at the television.
Excuse me, you're absolutely right. Sorry. I don't know. I lost count how many shots he actually had, or how many chances he actually got a foot on to have a shot. And I would say close to 10. And a whole load of them went over the bar. Others were maybe trickling in, a bad shot, trickling into the goalkeeper's hands. Really and truly, that is just abominable. But what you said at the start of this wee bit is the weather. Weather's a great leveller. You've got a guy that can get 100 goals a season and he plays in a storm like that, he might not get a goal. Particularly in these stadiums, you know.
But I'll look at the positives here, Robert, and I might be stretching a long bow. But people would argue that he was getting in the position, so there's a positive, yeah.
I think that's what you want from your striker. If he's not getting the goals, it's about creating the chances, getting in the right area, and then doing the work off the ball as well. The dirty work, the press, the chasing down, running the channels. And I think you want that from your striker if he's not getting the goals. And I know a few people have come on the show and said they can't fault his effort. They like his kind of drive at times to keep going, keep digging in. Particularly the Kilmarnock game, he looked pretty good as well back at Ibrox. He was doing that press as well. So if you're not getting that from him, then you can start asking questions. But he is in the areas to get these chances, but ultimately he needs to be taking more because he does have Silva, who I thought when he came on looked pretty sharp and pretty good. So he's got him breathing down his neck, and if there's anybody else coming in, then he's going to have a lot of competition to contend with. So he needs to take the chances.
I think that's him reached double figures this season, Bridge. I mean, we've had worse people with worse goal scoring records. And listen, you win and lose as a team, but he's a guy who grabs the headlines amongst the support. I would say his touch, Bridge, he doesn't look the most natural touch-wise, does he?
No, you're right. I still swear when I'm watching him last night, I'm thinking, that guy is no match fit. He's fit, physically fit. He's no match fit. Something no right about him, you know. He's, he hit the ball just, all it needs to be is a couple of inches out when it got close to your foot, and it's going to go left and right. It's not going to go straight, you know. It's just, the touch is shocking by him at times. Absolutely shocking. Youngsters used to play in school with they had fantastic touch, and I wonder what kind of touch he had when he was a youngster with the ball there. Just hit the shin and away it goes. Oh my goodness. It's very infuriating for the fans. Absolutely infuriating.
But I'll be a positive here, and I'll come with both you gentlemen, starting with Robert. That is the 5th competition he's scored in this season. It's remarkable.
I believe he's the only player to do so as well, isn't he? And obviously includes Europe as well. So you can't really fault him too much for that. He's getting goals in these competitions, and at times they prove vital. And again, as Bridge says, it's quite infuriating at times because we've seen a bit of quality from him, particularly that goal against Betis away. The way he drove down the line and cut in and finished it pretty well. But then one-on-one, he's just very hesitant. And I think we can say confidence, we can say consistency. Ultimately, we don't know what it is, but we've seen that kind of talent from him. And if he's scoring the goals in these competitions, he's doing something right. And he's obviously Clement's seen enough in training as well to keep him in the training camp, obviously over the winter break.
Yeah, bizarre. Stats, you can make stats mean anything, Bridget.
Yeah, I think in fairness to our manager's depending on that guy. He's giving them every opportunity, every chance. I think it's just unfortunate for a number of things. Like the other night, it was a lot of that weather maybe affected the ball coming to him in any way, shape, or form. But we as fans admire him, the manager, for doing what he's doing, and maybe he's a sticky wicket and he has to put him in. But the truth of the matter is, he is sticking with him, and he's not going to say too much bad about him. I don't think anyway, and he's done that all the way through. So he's sticking by him, and I hope that Des is sticking by the manager. Now he knows he needs to do his performance, get his performance right, and he's got to do it right. When he's in the box and the ball is near him, he can't just be lashing it and go to the corner flag. It's got to be get your body right, get your leg in the right place, and get a shot at goal. Make the keeper save it or whatever, Anyway, sorry.
Aye, so listen, he'll be the guy who maybe got the frustrations, but ultimately was involved a lot in difficult conditions. So we were huffing and puffing, and Robert, I was just beginning to think it was going to go in at nothing each and half time. Then out for a corner kick, we takes an in swinger. Campbell comes across to the left, swings it in. John Suter gives a flick on, he's just light, and there's John Lundstrom at the back to nod it in, 1-0, 35 minutes.
It's amazing what a wee change in a set piece delivery can do, isn't it? The taker and the then swinger, of course, as you said, but it seemed very much off the training ground. As you say, Suter getting the kind of near post flick on into the back post, and Lundstrom a pretty brave header because he's got the defender to contend with as well as the post, and tucks it away quite confidently as well with the head. So a good kind of set piece, and that in swinger had plenty of them during the game. So maybe that's a new tactic for the manager to work on.
Mix it up. If you consistently go to one way, Bridge, teams can set up accordingly. Yeah?
Oh yes, I do think, and I'm not being funny. You probably may agree with me here. Virtually every team in the league will, shall we say, play a low block against us, and that's the way they set it up. That's their games there. And when they run up the park, a couple of times that team Dumbarton, they weren't great, but they managed to break through with some good long balls. And obviously our defensive midfield and our defenders sometimes were caught a wee bit napping. A mixture of the weather and the high ball, So take my hat off to them, but really and truly, Rangers, all the time. I don't know what kind of possession we had last night. Maybe 80%. It was incredible, just incredible. Pressure was incredible.
Yeah, so we get the goal. We get the first goal for that corner, as you say, Robert. In swinging corner, knock on for Lundstrom, and knock on by Suter, touch in by McCrory. But before that, we could have been one down as Bridge points out. Knock on with Suter, knocked in by Lundstrom. But before that, young McCrory, the good save. Maybe one of their only efforts of maybe one in the second half. He showed his quality. He looked a wee bit rusty, maybe with the ball at his feet. He hasn't played a lot of football in a year. I didn't want to be too critical, but it was a good point blank save, Robert.
Yeah, it certainly was, mate. And again, when you've got the bulk of possession and you're a dominant team, you want your goalkeeper to be concentrated throughout the whole game as well. And moments like that, we've seen Jack Butland do it in plenty of games as well. And it was good to see McCrory obviously make the save, because if it goes in, it's 1-0. They sit back even deeper. You're up against conditions. But again, good save. And we know he's got kind of quality to do that as well. With what is it, 7 games he's played, and 5 of them have been clean sheets now as well. So he's a good, reliable number 2. And I was actually quite pleased that he got the game time. I thought it was a game that he could have obviously started, and I did expect him to. So it was good to get the minutes, and again showing his qualities that he's ready to stand up and county for if required.
I thought he'd done okay without being outstanding, but it's a really difficult night for any goalkeeper.
You can't take anything away from the goalkeeper. I think each time he's played for us, I think there's only one game where he sort of dropped the ball a couple of times, but it didn't come to end. But goalkeeper, it's horrendous weather for a goalkeeper, really and truly. But I think the boy did well. I've got no problems with the boy, none at all. But I do think their goal, another.
We'll get to that, Bridge. We're not even at half time yet.
Sorry,
we're not even at half time yet. Right. So just before half time, Mr. Tavernier goes down the right hand side of the pitch, inside right, if you like, Robert, plays a chip ball in, and who's there to put it in the net?
Big Cyril Dessers. Serie 9.
Nice one, Cyril.
It was actually a good delivery by Tav, and a good run by Dessers as well. We get in between the defenders pretty well, and I don't know if it was the replay or not, but or just how bad the camera was. Did they actually scuff the shot, or did they hit it cleanly? Because it seemed to have kind of taken a bit of a bobble before it went in the back of the net. Again, I don't know if it was a deflection or just the bad camera angle made it look that way, but the main thing is he's in that position and they put it away.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I thought he side-footed it.
It doesn't matter how they go in the back of the... I deflect it up and back-heeled that in Bridge personally, but not everybody can do that.
Not on that pitch, you can nail, surely.
Easy. The pitch with that ball, Norman. Just flipped it up, turned around, back-heeled it. Simple. You know? But, we criticised this, and I just want to have a wee laugh about him. I'm not having a bit before we move on. I thought the worst bit, and it did make me laugh, is the one he get flagged offside, and he had a shot. I don't know where it went. It went over the stand and out into whatever it was behind us. Japanese spaceships looking for it, Bridge.
Wow. That's what I mean, you know. You think somebody puts a beautiful ball through to him, and he picks it that go with the left. We're going to go with the left, so touch the ball with the right, and bang, it's gone. It's just a sin, you know, because it doesn't reach his left foot to shoot it. It hits the middle of his shin and it fires up in the air. It's just a comedy activity.
It was. So then we get in 2-0 up at half time. We're coasting. We start the second half, and the game was really just petering out, if we're being honest, Robert.
Yeah, it did, mate. It seemed to be that 2-goal lead was quite comfortable, and if we got the third, we'd take it, but we didn't seem to kind of have the engine going as full as we did in the first half. Obviously, towards the end of the game, getting the 2 goals, so it did that petered out again. Probably the weather a lot playing into that factor. So
you're not wanting any influence. Like, there wasn't a lot of contact, a lot of fouls, and the game was just petering out. And then we get the penalty kick. Penalty for you, Robert?
From what I could see, mate, it seemed a penalty, but again, I didn't really see the full thing at the time. So referees obviously gave it, and as you say, there's no VAR, so once it's awarded, that's it.
I thought that it was a bit soft until I put my VAR head on, and I thought he definitely caught the back of his leg. That's what it was for me. Didn't he get the ball, the back of his leg.
I don't disagree, Bridge, but I think you've summed up nicely. It was in the soft variety, yeah?
Of course, yeah.
So James Tavernier sets up, scores again, goal and an assist. I know it's only Dumbarton. So 3-0 up. You're thinking game's done, then they break away, puts a corner. So I didn't think it looked comfortable coming on as sub. It's not an ideal game to come on as sub in that weather, Robert.
No, it's certainly not. And I seen that Dumbarton actually put a tweet out about their winger, hoping that Barisic was alright after the game because it kind of gave him a bit of a torrid time. Again, it didn't look comfortable. Obviously, coming back from injury in the elements, probably thought the game was done, didn't have a lot to do, but just didn't seem comfortable, as you said. I don't know if that was just coming on in those conditions or just the injury still there a wee bit.
What about everything, mate? About everything.
Aye, factors.
So they get the goal, Bridge, and then we got the goal up the pitch right away. And my mate, Scott Wright, scores a goal. Scott Wright does, edge of the box, puts it in the goal.
When I saw him scoring that, I thought of you straight away. I thought, Oxford will be going, are you kidding me on? But no, he scored a goal. He scored one or maybe two goals like that before. He gets through and he gets a wee spurt on, and he knows what he wants to do. He can slot the ball in from that position. Don't ask me to cross a ball properly, because you can't do that, you know. But well done. No, good goal. Good goal.
Good goal. Game done. 4-1. Horrible conditions. Hopefully the injuries. And we move on for there, Robert, yeah? But I've got a question to pose to you two guys. It's only my opinion. But I'll pose a question to you two guys. Todd Cantwell. I thought he could be the difference maker for us, you know, in games. And I know we didn't need him on Saturday, but even then, apart from one corner kick, I don't think he contributed anything. Robert?
No, it didn't seem to stand out like it usually does, which is quite surprising. But I think most of our attacks were coming down the wing rather than through the central with Cantwell. But it seemed very deep as well when he did have the ball. I don't know whether that was just trying to pick the ball up because of the conditions of the pitch as well and try and get things going. But it seemed to just kind of pass him by almost. Again, it's one of those ones where could you have actually dropped him and played somebody else because you didn't really need him, as you say, but he was obviously named in the team sheet because it's your strongest 11, let's be fair, other than maybe the goalkeeper, as you mentioned. So I don't know. I don't know if there's maybe something between Clement and Cantwell. I don't want to speculate, obviously, but this potential new signing we're coming in.
Speculate away. I like a bit of speculation.
The boy that's rumoured to be coming in, Mohamed Diomande, seems to be more of a attack midfielder as well, and obviously Lammers went on loan.
How are you pronouncing that?
Mohamed Diomande.
You take a note of that, Rich?
I've got it. It's right in the brain now.
I think we'll just call him Mo, me and you, Bridger.
I'll be calling him that, that's for sure.
Carry on, Robert.
He seems to be more of a centre attack midfielder as well. And we've let Lammers go. We've obviously got Lowry coming back, but we all think he's probably going out on loan again somewhere. I just don't know if this Diomande signing is maybe indicating that Clement's not a fan of Cantwell. They've had their fallout, they've addressed it, but he's not getting the same effect as last season, and that can happen in football. A manager leaves that brings you in, and you just don't enjoy your football anymore, or you just don't feel the same feelings you did. So I don't know if there's something further to go on there. He's an asset though. That's probably the only thing that I could say is an asset that we could maybe get money in for if a club comes in and bids. Everybody has their value, and I think if a bid comes in for him, it wouldn't surprise me if that's like cashed in, to be honest.
All right, okay. Maybe he's just telling. Maybe he just needs a run of goals, a bit of uplift, Bridge. Maybe we're reading too much in him. Maybe we're not. What's your thoughts?
Well, for the last game there, I'm not blaming anybody for anything. As far as the weather was just shocking, so it's dead easy to get swallowed up in the weather. Never mind the fit, but it's the stronger, more gritty type players that seem to carry themselves a wee bit better. But Cantwell was, I don't know, kind of disappeared in the wind, you know, at times, you know. But that's all I've got to say about him as far as that's concerned. I don't have any problem with him. I think he's a smashing player, and yes, I do think there may be still some grievances between him and what do you call him? Philippe Clement. Clement, yeah. So it has to be maybe remembered. But the next time he's playing, hopefully he'll be picked against. Is it the Hibs we play next, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to play against them, and It can't really be a first pick for him. I'm quite sure of it. And the weather will have calmed down a bit, we hope. See how he gets on.
I just want him to be that difference maker. If that makes sense, Robert.
He's a playmaker, he's a flair player. One that can drive you forward, get you on the edge of the seat and create something out of nothing almost. And if he's not doing that, you start to kind of obviously not... You kind of look at what he's done previously, and when he's not doing it, that's obviously when you want him to go back to that. Another thing as well is he's had his knee strapped for a while. I don't know if there's still a lingering injury as well. I've seen quite a few pictures when he's had the straps around the knee when he came back for a few games before the international break, or the winter break, sorry, as well. So is he carrying a knock? Is he not feeling comfortable? Another question to ask.
Okay, just a wee chat about Todd, but overall, reasonably happy. Wasn't a great game. Terrible conditions, terrible pitch. Could have scored more. Double maybe, but it didn't matter, Bridge. As long as hopefully we'll get out with the injuries, that's it what counted, so you move on. Eh?
Yes, of course. As you said, the words you said there, I'm glad, you're glad that was over with. I didn't done it and we won well. Could have been a lot more had the centre forward had his shooting boots on at all. Even 50% his shooting boots on, we could have had a lot more goals.
Right, we'll better get these phone lines open, young Robert. Eh?
Absolutely, mate. Let the callers come in, give us their thoughts on the weekend.
Yeah, we need callers. Come and join us 01413561972. So let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yes, the bad news was at the weekend, Super 6.
Is that what you said? Did it fail, did it?
Aye, with one postponed. All close games, and it was there or thereabouts, but with two winners. So, getting closer, but no cigar, Robert.
Nah, there's always next week. Keep going, Southside, keep going. He's due one. He's definitely due one.
He's due something.
Let's hope it's a Super 6.
He's due something. Just don't know what it is. Right, aye. So, does that sum up that match? That'll go down under the unforgettable, won't it? Or forgettable, should I say? Forgettable. Sorry, no unforgettable, just forgettable, won't it? Move on.
Very good.
That King Colbridge.
Oh, I love it, Bill. I love it. What can you say? Look, and I dare say there's other teams played through it as well, and maybe the results went against them, and that's quite unfortunate. I mean, against run of play and things like that, But the weather is the old saying when they talk about it. He's a fantastic player, but can he play up at Brecon and a 4-scale wind, 4-8 wind, And there you go. Dumbarton, maybe when you were younger it would be Boghead that Dumbarton had opened, was it?
Aye.
So, and that was a tip as well, an absolute tip. The heaviest ground, it was like Derby County's ground, baseball ground. Every time it rained there, it was a quagmire. Sure, you have to take the horses up there for the soft ground.
Yes, and the draw was made for the next round. Were you happy with the draw, Robert?
Yeah, mate, quite happy with that. Home tie, United. Since it's a 4 o'clock kickoff though on the Sunday, so I don't think that will be ideal for a lot of people. Sunday night, getting back, wherever they travel from, would be quite difficult, I'd imagine.
4 o'clock on a Sunday. Bridge.
What can I say? I don't know why they're doing this to us. Was it 5:30 the other night? Whatever it was.
5:30.
5:30, sorry. And now, what what's going on? Of course, obviously it's for the television. I think no, that's stupid. But I can't believe it. I am for the days when everybody kicked off at 3 o'clock. The whole league played at 3 o'clock, and that's all there is to it. And it was too bad if you didn't get it. If you kicked off late, well, it was difficult for you. I just can't believe it.
You happy with the draw, Bridge?
I'm happy with the draw, and I'm glad it's Ibrox. I do like an Ibrox draw for the cup. And I've not been well, as you know, and I'm targeting that one. I'm targeting that one. First back.
Right, okay. Alright, so hopefully get it done, get it dusted. Move into the quarterfinals, Robert. Simple as that, eh?
Simple as that, and it should be as easy as that. That's no disrespect to United, but they're not in the greatest of form of this season as well, and potential new manager coming in. Interesting name linked to that as well. So, but no, it should be an easy tie.
You get a warm welcome, won't he?
I'm sure he will. A nice warm Sunday welcome.
Sure he will. You know, but come and give your thoughts on the draw. Maybe move on, but I'm still going for the quadruple. It's not for everybody, Robert.
Absolutely not, mate. Only team in Scotland that can do it. And the way we've been playing, obviously under Clement, I don't see why we shouldn't get the most of them, if not all, even Europe. Let's go for it.
Yep. Right, you're a man that's all over this social media thing. Bridge is all over the internet, but that's another story.
This is a family show, remember.
I know, I never forget that. There's been so many players linked in the window when I think we're going to bring in 2, maybe 3 tops. We've been linked with dozens, eh?
It's always been the way round about this window. Even the summer window, you always hear speculation in names, but as I said on Friday, I don't believe anything until you see it done by the official media. Ourselves here and Rangers obviously tweeting the pictures of the player there. And if you just think, Silva wasn't really mentioned a lot in the media, and that came out. So this Diomande has not been speculated a lot, and he's close as well. So doing our work quietly, and everything else that's in the media is just purely speculation at the meantime. There may be work getting done on them, but it's speculation until they're in that Ibrox with the scarf and the top, and the interview is done and dusted. But certainly this Diomande certainly seems close. I think it's just the weather that's hampered that.
Yeah, we're picking up that he's passed his medical and he was coming in to sign, but obviously the airports have been a bit out of schedule, Bridgeman, the last 24 hours, yeah?
Yeah, it's throwing it out. Maybe another 24 hours, you just don't know. Because the impact of on the planes could be greater. The cancellations and things like that was going on. So we just don't know. But hopefully, he's going to be here tomorrow sometime, hopefully. Fingers crossed. And be up there at Auchenhowie or Ibrox with the scarf up his head to prove it. And like you said, we're hearing that everything's all done and dusted. Just ready to rock and roll with him when we get him here. I'm looking forward to the boy coming in. I don't know how much of a reputation he's got from a footballing perspective, other than good. I've not heard anything bad about him. Everything's been good, so.
Well, okay, Robert gives a reward him.
22-year-old central midfielder, attack midfielder, and he's played 96 games for Nordjylland, and he's only 22, so he's racked up a number of appearances. And from what we've been seeing clips and hearing of him, he certainly seems to be this profile that we're going down of the player trading model, bringing somebody in young, developing them, and put them on for a selling fee. So hopefully it works out for him. But certainly from what I've read, he seems to be highly thought of back up in Denmark with his club Nordjylland. And as I said, 96 games for your first team is pretty good when you're only 22. He's also got Ivory Coast under 23 caps as well. So a young prospect in the making, I believe.
I don't think I'm too keen in their flag, the Ivory Coast.
I wonder why. I wonder why, pal.
I don't think you've seen a name inside Ibrox.
Yeah, but well, he's obviously he's done his apprenticeship with that amount of games, Bridge, yeah?
Yes, of course. Yes, it sounds great for the boy, you know, I have to say. And obviously, we're looking forward to seeing him. And yeah, if he's, what did you say? He's scored 55. Scored 55 goals or played 55 games?
Played 96, scored 11.
96 games, scored 11. Okay. I don't want that. He's a midfielder, isn't he? So he's not going to score a lot of goals up here.
Vida played 95, he scored 55. I don't know who he got for Rob.
I couldn't remember. I do apologise. My mind travels fast at times, you know. But no, if it's 96 games, that's 2 seasons worth of games. So obviously been playing very, very good football in a competitive side.
No, for Kemar Roof, that's 12 seasons worth.
Well, yes, of course, depends. I don't want to go to ridiculous with him, you know. But seriously, the lad's been playing that amount of games, and he's well versed in it. So obviously, it's difficult for people to come to a different league in a different country. There's always difficulties.
Right.
Nearly always. Some folk just fall.
Yeah, you need to settle on that, Bridge. You need to get who you're working with. So, like anybody else starting a new job, it's not that easy. People think you just walk in. It ain't. You know, some people get that bit of luck. They get the first break, they score a goal on their debut, and they don't look back. But it doesn't work for everybody. You know, you get different guys that slow burners, quick burners. You know, and we wish him, if he this side, we wish him well, Robert. Eh?
Absolutely, mate. I'm sure he'll be delighted with the move himself, and obviously as supporters, we welcome anyone that joins the club, and if they improve our squad, so be it. And again, if he fits the bill of the player trading model, but the club's going down, if he makes us a profit as well going down the future, it can only help us in the long run.
Is he coming in to replace Lammers? On you go, Bridge.
Oh, well, yeah, in all probability. But if he's coming in the midfield, I hope he's going to be an assist to the existing midfield boys, you know. In some way, I mean, obviously there's going to be a positional thing there. The manager knows what he wants. And I don't know whether he's an attacking midfielder or not. And anybody with skills in the midfield would be very, very welcome for the Rangers. Because when we play against some half-decent teams, they flood the midfield as well, you know, at times. And then we get your men down. They can't get the ball and that nonsense. So the more midfielders have got a bit of quality. And yeah, for me anyway.
Are you saying that's where our quality players play, Bridge? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yes, to a certain extent. There's most midfielders who are, shall we say, got in about them would be quality players. It's a very, very difficult position to play in. Very easy if you're a good player, yeah. And you're allowed.
Would you also say you put the big stiffies at centre back?
Oh, the big diddies, aye, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh dear, every time. But don't know a lot about him, Robert. If the manager and his staff want him, and he's going to improve our squad and our first team, I'm all in.
Yeah, exactly, mate. As I said, he's a young boy, and I know a lot of people have said that we need experience, but we also need to bring in some young players and do this player trading model. I keep saying about selling assets, but when they come in, you want them to, as you say, hit the ground running. It may take time to settle, which you can understand. A young boy moving to a club like Rangers becomes a lot of pressure, but if he can thrive on it and play well, I'm sure he'll do well. And although it's a centre midfielder we're bringing in, it's probably not a position many of us thought we needed to maybe strengthen this window. But when you look at it, you've got Dowell injured, you've had Sterling who hasn't put a foot wrong in midfield, but he's not natural there, although he certainly looks it. It's not a natural player. You've got Jack out of contract, Lundstram out of contract, which Clement obviously picked up on the weekend, that it's a financial discussion between John and the club now, so it looks like he'll be staying, but it may even be a replacement for Jack or maybe Mr. Todd Cantwell.
Speaking about Jack, either the two of you think Mr. Jack will be away?
I don't think we'll be getting him in a year, Bridge, you know. As much as I don't dislike Ryan Jack, I think there's been times where we were a better team when he's been in it. But you need a level of being available for selection, mate. I understood why we gave him another year. I wasn't that fussed. I think it was important that we maybe kept somebody Scottish, understood the club. But obviously, ultimately, been a number of games he's appeared in, it's not really worked. But he could still be a big part to play because there's still a lot of football to play, Bridger.
Most assuredly, yeah, most assuredly. And I was glad when he came. I think when I saw him last night, some of the things he tried to do last night, they just weren't coming off, And I noticed I said I wouldn't complain too much about the weather, but I think it's glaringly obvious. He's not going to be able to get the fitness back. I just doubt it very, very much. But he's done some great stuff for the Rangers, and especially scored some really good goals.
I mean, the guy that did, it was only a cameo. Tom Lawrence, his touch looked a step above everybody else that was playing in the short time he was on the pitch, if I'm being honest. Robert, I don't know what you thought.
Yeah, hopefully that's his injury where he's behind him. We know he's had not the greatest injury record since he came to the club, and you can see the quality he's got, and it is that level above at times. It's the same with Cantwell as well. You can see there's a difference of quality between the two players and the players that are around them, and that sometimes that's a bit of a spark that brings you. So it'd be good to see Lawrence get a number of games between now and the end of the season. As you say, there's a lot of games, 4 competitions to play for, so we're going to need this squad. Whether that's the squad that we've got now, players coming in, we're going to need every single one of them to put their effort in.
I think that the likes of Lawrence and Cantwell, they're the type of chaps that you hope to just slow through the game, and they've got the ability to do such a thing. As you said, Oxlade has got a touch, and he's got that way about him. So when the ball comes to him or near him, gathers the ball with control. And it's, some players, unfortunately, some players put the foot down and the ball just bobbles in front of them and it hits their leg and they can't do anything about it. And the next touch is a tackle, That Lawrence looks really, really good quality player. If you start getting him on up at the beginnings, and you've got players who can do these things, I don't know whether you call him a number 9 or a number 8 or whatever, but my goodness, that boy can play football. He knows where he is. The type of player you would love to have in your team in front of you, Just you get the ball, just get to him. If you can get it to him, get to him, because he'll be a better player than me anyway, That's the way I look at it.
I think if he plays, you're right, let's see, Robert, I've not seen enough of him, but he looks as if he's got a touch. He can make things happen. He's no scared to shoot. Again, if he stays fit, we'll get competitions. He might drive Campbell on, which can only be good.
Yeah, the better players are in the starting 11, the better it looks, and the chemistry's there. It brings out.
Hello there.
Carry on, Robert.
Hello.
Carry on, Robert.
Even the players that maybe aren't as that quality, it gives them an extra 10% in their effort as well, and it's all about confidence and feeling good about yourselves. And if players that Cantwell and Lawrence bring their A game, then it obviously boosts the rest of the squad, which makes a better squad and better results, better performances.
Aye, I'll be interested to see how that plans out. If you like, it's competition for that number 10 role, Bridge.
Yes, and it's going to be good if it all works out. It's going to be good, and I'm sure the person or the two, there's going to be two men vying for the position at all times, and either of the two should be able to just walk onto the pitch and have the presence, and everybody around about them should be watching everything they do because they're going to be superb players. But that's what we want. I want I've played against some fantastic players, and you've got to just, and I've been lucky to play with some fantastic players on my side, and all I did was get the ball and get to them, because they're the ones that can play football. I can't. Not the way they can. Not the way they can. No.
Evening, Stuart.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Nice, Stuart. Hiya,
Ian, it's Stuart.
Riggs, Nat. Hiya, how you doing? All right. I just a couple of things really. Obviously, watching the game on Sunday, a bit of a blizzard and that, but professional job. But you know what? I've been looking at Cantwell the last couple of games. He's just got a kind of, his demeanour looks low. He just looks unloved, if you like. And he's one of these players that he's got to be the focal point. I think when he came last year, he was the focal point, the shine, and he was got to do this, he was got to do that, and he had a good season when he came in. And the January onwards, he was quite good. But I just get the feeling Big Phil's maybe had a chat with him, and he just looks a bit unhappy looking, doesn't look a bit disillusioned to me. And I think he'll be moved on quite shortly, actually, in the summer. I think what Big Phil's doing is he's always telling everybody, looking at the next game, he's got everybody focused on that, which is right. But he's looking at the bigger picture, the lack of money for transfers, so he's got to get people out, to get people in. And he's got his ideas about who he wants in. I mean, this guy came out of the blue. I don't know about you guys, but I'd never really heard of him or paid much attention to him. So I think he's just sort of easing people out without disrupting the squad too much, without losing games and cheesing people off, basically. So I think he's got a few earmarked like that, maybe Jack as well. I think he'd maybe want to keep Lundstrom. But you could just see what he's trying to do, just kind of nudging them towards the end of the cliff. And then if he gets money for Cantwell, I'd be happy with that. I just wonder what you think of that. What he's trying to do, the end game, if you like. Been very clever about it as well, by the way.
We discussed Cantwell just before you come on, Stuart, and well, we know he's not the greatest of seasons, and I just want him to start making the difference. I think he's playing too deep and no influence again where he wants to be, which is arguably 30 yards for going up top, making chances and making passes, but it's going to hurt teams, not a hot filing. Robert?
Aye, I know what you're meaning, but he just seems to be, he gets involved in silly wee things, and he's always kind of flailing his arms about a bit, and as if he's the victim all the time.
Excellent. Robert?
Yeah, just picking up on what Stuart said there, he has picked up bookings for petulance and needless fouls, needless yellow cards getting involved or reacting to some things, and we've seen that since the day he signed. And when he did sign, there was a side of him that I didn't know he had, and that was the fight to get the ball back. But if you look at what he's done this season compared to last, he's not on his game at all. And again, that could be down to a number of factors, and I don't know what that is, but certainly since the fallout when he gets substituted early on in the European game, he's just not looked the same player. Even before then, he wasn't shining as we all know he could. And just what Stuart said about kind of pushing people out, I think what the manager's doing, he obviously wants to make it his squad. And what he's got now, he's had to deal with. And he's bringing players in. Obviously, the window's still open until next Wednesday. I'm sure they'll add to that and beyond, obviously, in the summer. But he wants to bring in his players. And if he doesn't fancy Cantwell, I don't think he's going to cause a rift now publicly. He obviously knows he can do a job just now. But if he is wanting to move him on, he is certainly one that we could probably bring in a decent amount of money for and move on and bring players in that are younger, have maybe a wee bit more desire that Clement's seeing or not seeing from Cantwell just now. So pushing people out might be a strong word, but I think he's got an idea and he's looking in that future. He's a proper manager, and I think Cantwell's attitude may have went down all right with Beale last season, but certainly not with the way Clement manages. It'll be interesting one to see. He may turn up against Hibs on Wednesday night and play the game of his life, and he's the next best player. So football's a funny game.
Ridgeman, are we so fickle as fans? I mean, he was arguably everybody's favourite at the end of last season. We've only moved on 6 months, and we're saying he's not doing it. I'm not saying we want him out of the club, not at all. We just want him to get back to the form he was on,
Well, sometimes players can be their own worst enemy, as you know. And I'm afraid that he's picking up and getting needled. People are needling him and winding him up rotten, you know. He's a ribbon or something stupid like that, you know. Condenses it the day in the park. And he becomes a victim then. And of course, the reality is that he retaliates by a bad tackle or maybe it didn't mean a bad tackle, but it's a bad tackle anyway. And people just fall. When Cantwell goes in, people just fall. is an obvious foul, because that's what the referees think. He's fouling, and then before you know it, he's booked. And Rangers players, I'm not being funny when I said in this case I'm not picking and Cantwell. Rangers players can't afford to get booked like that. They cannot afford to get booked like that. Got to show the strength that the Rangers fans want us to have, and how we go about our job, and so on and so forth. We can't get booked, can't have yellow cards for stupid things, and he's got to get rid of that and vent his spleen in another way. And that's what he's got to do, if it's possible.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Listen, it's not a daily for him. If he doesn't play well and there's other people there, Stuart, he'll not be in Clement's team.
I think so. I think you're right. I think, one of the sort of highlights of the season thus far has been obviously McCausland and finding Sterling in a position that he's not familiar with. That boy's going to be an asset. I don't care what they paid for him or whatever, if they did pay anything. But God Almighty, he must be sitting in about getting a couple of other games, and he's a shining light for me. Strength, the speed of the boy is really, really great, and I just think you could build a sort of team around that guy. I think he's like a Rickson type of boy. He could play anywhere down that right hand side or even in the middle. He's got to be worth upwards of 15 million, like a Calvin Bassey type of player. I could see him as a Calvin Bassey type of player. You know what I mean? And just sort of Clement's bringing the best out of these guys. Now, I'm not slagging Cantwell off here, by the way. I'm just saying that he's a good player, but sometimes good players just didn't fit into the system. It's a bit rough and tumble. I'll go back to a game. You'll probably mind it. I heard one of you guys mention that a while back. It was against Aberdeen in the Cup final. Shinnie, you could see Shinnie looking at the ball, he put his elbow right into the back of his neck. It could have been a really bad one. Shinnie, if that had been Cantwell doing that, it would have been booked or sent off. Shinnie never even got a care. So he's got to put up with that and not react to it. And that's the biggest thing for him. But listen, as you say, Ox, I think if you played him in his right position and he's got that wee bit of freedom, I think he could be a really, really asset for us, and hope Clement gives him that wee bit of a chance. You know what I mean? I really do. But Sterling's the man for me to make a difference now. I really think so.
I think he has been. I think the manager has been putting him in his right position. But it'll be interesting to see how it pans out, Robert. It's a case of watch this space, isn't it?
It certainly is, mate. And as I said, sometimes that happens when a manager comes in. They just think the player doesn't suit your system, or the player doesn't like the manager's system. But until that does happen, Cantwell's a starter in the squad. And although we say we've got a number of players that can play that number 10 position, right now, until anybody else comes in, it's probably Cantwell's to lose, regardless of form. I couldn't pick somebody to drop automatically into that number 10 position unless you put in Lawrence. But again, how match fit is he? How much influence can Tom Lawrence have in a game over Cantwell? It's all about form, as you say, but it seems that Cantwell will be in the team no matter how he plays. He is that player that can create something from nothing and improve the game going forward. But he is sitting too deep. You see the amount of times he gets the ball. He's closer to the halfway line, and you want him further up the park.
Aye.
Can I just say, Oxchair, Cantwell, it reminds me, I don't mean his style of player or anything like that, some of the things that happened to him on the football pitch, it reminds me of Gaza. Gaza was a great wind-up person, and when people were winding him up, then he tried to get back to them and so on and so forth. And he became the referee's enemy. And that's what that boy's going to become, a referee's enemy. They'll just book him at any chance at all. Book him as early in the game as possible. And that's why your manager, bad if your manager's pulling you off before half time. Bad.
Listen, if he starts scoring goals, making chances, he'll be one of the first names in the team sheet. But we'll watch this space. Like anybody, your form's got to be up to it, Stuart, yeah?
I mean, last year, or the start of this year, sorry, that was a big case for getting Lundstrom out. I was saying he's slower than the Wheaton Barrel and all that. It wasn't for me. And look at him now. He's one of the sort of first names on the sheet at this minute in time. So that could be the same thing happen to Cantwell. I think it's sort of day way. Lundstrom's maybe responded to the kind of wee bit of criticism. Everybody's different. Some folk need an airing round them, or some patting the dog's head and booting its arse at the same time, that kind of thing. And everybody reacts differently to it all. And I think, I mean, you were talking about Dessers earlier, about his position, his touch and all that isn't great. But if you look at some of the balls he's put through, that one to McCausland that time, although his first touch isn't good, sometimes his second touch is all right. He's not good going through one-on-one, I get that. There's something about the guy that I kind of like. I like his effort. And I think when he comes deep, he pulls the defence out and lets people go behind him. Like, say, that's maybe where Seema was kind of getting a wee bit of advantage there. And I don't know. I know he's probably only in the team because there's no much options. But I think he's getting the best out of what he can and try to just nurture that wee bit of composure at finishing. I mean, the part wasn't great on Sunday, but he'd still be no bloody hitting at the fence at the back for that sort of range. You know what I mean? A wee side fit with the wind. Sometimes power's not always the answer. But listen, I still think we're going the right direction. I'm quite happy with the way we're going. I'm not critical of the team. I'm just saying, for me at this stage, a lot of the guys, it's all about attitude. You look at Sterling. Sterling's not been playing. He's come in. He could have took that attitude down in tools. Right, mate, you're playing in midfield now. And he's been blinded in midfield. So they're a boy with the right attitude. So the rest of them need to follow that. They lift it, and McCausland's got the right attitude. Absolutely, 1,000,000%. So that's infectious throughout the team, you know.
It's getting close to a month since we've seen Sterling.
I know he's had an injury or something, isn't he? I think so.
Once again, the curse strikes again. Hopefully he's back soon, because it'd be interesting if he's fit and Raskin was fit and Lundstrom was fit. What's his 2 out of 3, Robert?
If you're basing it on recent form, you would probably go Lundstrom and Sterling. If you're wanting the natural balance, it'd probably be Lundstrom and Raskin. I think it's just who works well with Lundstrom. And to be fair, Raskin and Sterling have both worked well. I think it's just depending on the opponent as well. If you're wanting the kind of 2 sitters, or if you're wanting somebody to be a bit more advanced out of the 2. But it's a good option to have, to be honest, Locks. 2 different styles of players as well.
Yeah, I get you based on form, man. What you thinking, Bridge?
I'm thinking that Lundstrom and Raskin are 200% defensive midfielders, and they can step up and create things if they can. But you don't have very many, actual midfielders, other than the boys that have come back with fitness and Lawrence, and so there's some good players in our squad. They need to get in there. Cantwell being one of them as well. They need to get in there and, shall we say, dictate the game. And Lundstrom, because he'd been on his own basically for a wee while, insofar as the creation's concerned. But now Raskin's beside him, he takes a bit of the defensive side of it off him. You might see Lundstrom stepping up a wee bit. But, you know, for some reason or I doubt it, because he's playing well and as a defensive, and he looks good. And that's the truth.
There'll be a mixed message for some people in there about Lundstrom getting a new contract. It will not be universally well received, but at the moment he's playing reasonably well for us. Right, gentlemen, we've reached that time of the evening. We're going to stop for a tune. You get any requests, Bridge?
Yes, the Godfather tune.
You like that one?
I like that one.
Yeah. Stuart?
God, I don't know. They're all good. I mean, Real Britannia and setting everybody. No, I'm always
Robert, any requests?
I don't think Fox will have any of my generation requests, so I'll skip this one, mate.
Well, Fox likes a wee bit of modern music, mate.
A wee bit of GBX.
Yeah, he's your man, mate. You'd be surprised. Right, gentlemen. Get yourself on mute, because we're going to have a tune.
Lean and march marching on through the years of history. Heads held on high How far the jersey they would do or die. Oh, fight, fight for right. Play the game with a badge of glory. Win, lose or draw, well, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. See them march on, banners high as they fly before you, loyal and true. On the way to cheer the boys in blue, oh, follow they will, marching on through the song of glory. We'll lose or draw, well, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. Have you seen the Glasgow Rangers? Have you seen the boys in blue? Well, they're admired by all who know them. If you knew them, so would you. For they have played in Monaco, they have played in the USA. But the greatest game in history is the game on New Year's Day, for it's the home of famous heroes, and their praises they have been sung. Willie Waddle, Tory Gaelic, Alan Morton and George Young. And when all my life has ended, and when death has made its mark, will you scatter all my ashes on the slopes of Ibrox Park? And what the angels I'll be singing up in heaven, they're up above. I'll be singing, follow, follow, to the Rangers that I love. And with my flute I will be playing in the valleys and the glens. I'll be happy and contented when the Rangers win again. See them march on, marching on through the years of history. It's head on high, oh, for the jersey they would do or die. Fight, fight for right, play the game with a badge of glory. Win, lose or draw, well, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. See them march on, banners high as they fly before you, loyal and true. On the wing to cheer the boys in blue, oh, follow they will, marching on through the songs of glory. Win, lose or draw, well, that's the Glasgow Rangers story. Win, lose or draw, well, that's the Glasgow Rangers story.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
There you go, young Robert. A classic there, a classic for Mr. Fox.
I enjoyed that one. That was a good one, Foxy boy.
Yes, he's got them all. He's got them all. Right, okay. So, we're moving on to a massive, massive game on Wednesday night. Bridgeman, you would say it's the biggest game of the season, and you might be right.
I would indeed, pal, and I'm right. 100% right. But I have said it before. For the Rangers, every game, the next game, whatever it be, is the next biggest game of the season, because it's going to make our season or break it. That's the chance that it takes. And we need to be on the ball and in there. And just think about what this game means to us. If we don't win this, if we don't get 3 points out of this, we'll be completely deflated. Well,
yeah, it's a big game. It could go a long way, but it's no make or break. But obviously, we want to win. We play before them on Saturday. We could be sitting 2 points behind if we get 2 results. Robert?
It's a huge psychological advantage, Ox, isn't it? When you're the team playing first, you've got the game in hand as well. Well, let's not kid ourselves. It will be a tough game. Easter Road away. Kind of always seems to be the case that they kind of put an extra bit of effort in against us as well. But the way we've been playing, I don't envisage any issues, but it might not be the most comfortable games. But certainly their form, if you look at it on the table, they've got 4 points from the last 15 points available. But I don't really look at that because, again, it's a game of football where anything can happen. The only thing I kind of wonder, Knox, is who plays at centre back, because I think obviously Balogun, I thought his suspension carried into the cup. It didn't. He was on the bench, and Golson's suspended, so you've only got Suter. And I don't know how close Ben Davis really is to being returning. I know he's the first to return, but it's when. So it's who's going to play that centre back next to John Suter?
Well, I think there's a few choices. Obviously depends what happens with Sterling, and depends what happens. So could Lundstrom go back there? Could Leon King come in? Could Big Ufeku come in at the left side? We've got choices there, Stuart, but they're not our first choices, are they?
No. I mean, I would always kind of default back to the Sparta Prague sort of game, and that's the blueprint for me. The way they started that first half is just superb, to be honest with you. So we need to have that same attitude, and that would maybe relieve the pressure on the back if we were kind of attacking really for the midfield up, and the back lot wasn't getting as much sort of involved as what they would need to be. I mean, there's a couple of Hibs players that are quite tricky on the day, and it could be a bad night, it could be a bit windy, so a bit of a leveller. So we've got to win the battle, as they say first. Win the battle, and then let your class sort of shine through. Again, we've talked about Campbell. This could be a game that could change it. It could be a game changer for him. Stamp his authority. Dessers gets a goal. Whoever would go at the back. There's 2 or 3 options there, like what you said. I'm not particularly worried. I just feel that he's got this momentum going inside the players. I feel more confident now than what I've felt for a wee while, if you know what I mean. Going into each game, there's no overconfidence, but you can see the way the players are playing. I think they're a tighter unit now. They've not lost a lot of goals, so that's a good thing. So it's all in our favour. I mean, like everybody's saying, it's all in our hands, and I think the squad's not too bad, even though we're depleted a bit. We've still got the tools there to do the job. I'm talking about 2-0 or something like that. I really am.
I would, well, listen, if we play, we win. If we go with the right attitude, we win. But we've got to score goals, and that worries me, Bridge. That's been one of Achilles' heels at times.
yeah, but more so now. When the last game that we played there, and Dessers missed a host of chances, and scored one, and I thought it was quite a good goal. Great pass, great cross. And into the net, simple for us. That's what we're looking for. We need to do more of that, and we really do need to do it. These guys that we've got there now, by the sound of things, they're the only ones we're going to get. I don't think we're going to have any more coming in. There's no any big names going to come into Rangers until summertime. So these guys have got to do it. In fact, I'll put this bluntly to you. Dessers has got to do it. Because this man that he's putting his future on, both the player and the manager for us. He's got to do it. He's got to turn it around. Come in there and do it. Come on.
It'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Obviously, centre backs. Who starts at left back for you, Robert?
Left back, Ridvan for me.
I agree, mate. Stuart?
I like Ridvan. His anticipation and the way he goes forward, he's got an option. He tends to cut in, which I like as well, a bit like McCausland cuts in. And you think there's not going to be any effect, but he seems to drive on. McCausland's the same. So I like that variation in him, and he's got a wee bit about him in the tackle as well, for his height. I mean, a lot of left backs that weren't very big and they were really good, or right backs. So, but I'd still play him all day before Barisic. Barisic for me is gone, man. He's okay, he's steady enough, but under a bit of pressure, no for me, no anymore anyway. 2 years ago, fine, no, not.
You might be right there, you might be right. Bridge?
I have to agree with him. I can't say too much more than that, to be honest. The words he said were spot on, you know. We're getting to a point where now we're desperate to get the next league. This is the league we're looking for. We've got opportunities to do so. I'm afraid we let ourselves down at Celtic Park. No doubt about that. Arguing about VAR that didn't exist because the people running the VAR are just rubbish. So I think Rangers are carrying a lot, and we want a lot. Rangers fans want a lot. They want to do it, but the way things are going, we need to get the players to smarten up. Put the ball in the net. Sorry to say that again, but that's what we need to do.
The question was, Bridge, who did you start at left back?
Oh, sorry, left back. Well, you've got to be the boy, Turkish boy. What's his name? Ridvan. No, Vidmar. Ridvan.
Yeah. It's changed quite quickly in that position, Robert. Yeah?
Yeah, it has, and to give Yilmaz the benefit of the doubt as well, we had injuries before. This has probably been his most run of games, and he's showing his qualities in them. As Stuart said, he likes to cut in. He's not kind of down the wing, overlapping as much. He likes to kind of drive forward with the ball in between the midfield and the defence, and he's quite comfortable doing that. But even when he does get down the line, we know his end product's not maybe the greatest of balls compared to Barisic's left foot, but it's just a different drive, a different effort and energy. And it's somebody, again, Barisic, he always kind of tends to go backwards, whereas Yilmaz, he's got that forward thinking, and it's a bit refreshing to see. And we know he came with a big kind of talent and pedigree of this next big thing from Turkey, so he's certainly living up to what we expected him to be. And as I said, he's been in these games now consistently. The manager said that he's committed, and that's all we ask for, is the commitment. And certainly Yilmaz has shown that in his last few games and had some standout performances as well.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see who we were linked with this window. There's been a lot on social media, Robert. Here's some of the names, mate.
Where do you start? There's been Josh Doig, left back.
He's moved, didn't he? He's moved.
Yeah, he went to, I think it was Marseille, he went to eventually from Verona.
Some move for the boy, yeah?
Aye, certainly a good move for him personally. And again, it's probably one of those Scottish players that could we have got previously, even when he was at Hibs. We were linked only, a week, 10 days ago with Michy Batshuayi, not in favour at Fenerbahce, contract running out at the end of the season. Belgian, quite a good goal scoring record. There's been loads of names. A Croatian wonder kid as well, Marco Bullet. But again, these are all speculation, Ox, until...
like that, Marco Bullet. That's a good name for a striker, Stuart, isn't it?
That's a brilliant name, aye. He's got a good shot on him and stuff like that. There'd be so many puns coming out about it, you know what I mean? The rifled one in and everything like that, you know what I mean? You could sit here, you could make a show up just about his name, you know what I'm saying? I know there's been a lot of speculation. It's been funny, actually, listening to some of the nonsense that has been coming out and the way the reporters try to squeeze something out about, what Phil says, talking about transfer, he kind of just hinted on something might be Hartman and a wee teaser. I think it's maybe this Danish guy was kind of talking about. But you're going back to the team. I think if they played a kind of false number 9, if Dessers wasn't there, that would maybe create a bit of difference in the attack, with Silva being the guy. Because I think that would suit him. He's not an out-and-out sort of number 9 as you would associate a Morelos type or whoever, Derek Johnson type of boy. But aye, there's a lot of speculation. I've quite enjoyed it actually, the way he's played cat and mouse, and it's been absolutely brilliant. I've loved it.
Well, none of us up until the last maybe 48 hours, Robert, had heard the big Diamond here.
Yeah, again, mate, it's all the names that are in the media are all speculated. The names that we've obviously brought in Silva, there wasn't a lot said about him. Some of us knew him from his move to Wolves from Porto, but Diomande, again, it's an unknown. I'm sure there will be a few out there that maybe have heard of him, but certainly I hadn't heard a lot about him previously until I'd done some research. And again, as I said, everything that I've read has been positive so far. A young boy, quite strong, athletic, seems to be a highly thought of player from up in Denmark.
You just wait for the town crier, the Mora Bridge, the man for Diamande says yes.
I'll tell you what, a lot of the fans will be looking forward to the chap arriving and coming to Ibrox. I hope he goes up to Ogdenhowie as well. And that may be where he gets the scarf above the head. It'd be nice, but he'll obviously take him to Ibrox to let him see the place and get introduce himself. I don't know if he knows Ibrox in any way, shape or form, or if anybody's told him about Ibrox.
Well, he was a member of the KP bus since he was 12, Bridget, so
so he'll know it well, yes. I was just meaning in the communications and why, and it used to be, what was your Twitter, now X, one of the vendors said in there is, he knows so-and-so, and so-and-so's brother played for Rangers, or what's that effect, you know? My multiple connections.
We'll see. Yeah. Are you happy? How many players were you expecting, Stuart? That was 2, 3 tops for me.
I was thinking 3. I was thinking we've got Silva now. If we get this guy and another type of striker type of guy, again, Shankland's been mentioned, no the nonsense, no playing last week at the cup game and that. But I think Phil would maybe put another rabbit in the hat there. Shankland's no coming. I just get the feeling that's not going to happen. Too expensive at the age he's at. That's what I think, getting robbed by Hearts a wee bit. So I think there could be a bit of a kind of wee sting in the tail there. That's maybe his coup de grace at the end. Somebody's coming in, you're thinking, wow, I never seen that one coming. Expecting to see a Shankland come. I might be wrong, but I'm just saying that I'd say another 2, definitely. Another 2 to come in. Silva, so that's 3 in total. I think he's looking for about 3 in total. I think he'll get the people working behind the scenes better than what they did when Beale was there, I felt. They're more kind of going into it, logic, if you like. So it's logical to, if we get a guy like this, get him in there for a couple of years, sell him for 15, 20 million, Calvin Bassey style. Brilliant, that's what you want. No people running the blooming contracts out like what's happened with Morelos, Kent, and all these type of boys losing millions. Although we gained in Kamara and stuff like that. But you want to maximise your ins and outs, if you know what I mean. So I think there's a great plan there with Clement, and another 2 will come in. That's counting the guy that they're talking about now, actually. Fingers crossed, anyway.
Interesting. No, as I said, Robert, 2 or 3 for me, that's a max. But listen, you never know who leaves the club, do you? So that could change things quite quickly.
Yeah, I was going for a minimum of 3. Again, basing that depending on, as you say, who goes out. If you can get any money for the players going out of contract as well, the likes of maybe a Barisic, even a Kemar Roof, if somebody comes in, which I don't expect that to happen. Obviously, he's not featured a lot because of injuries, so he need to be playing to be in the shop window for me. But if you can get some of these players out, then you look, if Barisic was to leave this window, you're then kind of left with one natural left back in Ridvan. So that would be a position that you may look at. But I think 3 minimum, and if you get anybody out, then maybe one more. I certainly think another striker will come in. Don't know if it'll be Shankland, but certainly a striker.
Well, we'll see, mate. We'll see. You know, as long as the manager's happy. As long as the manager's happy. Bridge?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. As long as the manager's happy. I personally think you're going to see maybe two coming in. I don't think it's going to be Shankland, as I said earlier. But I would, as it comes up in the last 10 days, maybe down to 9 days, 8 days, and so on, you're counting down. There's huge gaps start to appear, and the deals that were supposed to be going to be done don't get done, and there's a race on, and that's quite exciting for some people who follow it as deeply as some folk love doing it, and you follow it up, and I think Rangers will end up with another two players in. I think that's providing they can move a couple on. Let's put it that way.
All right. Talking about somebody who shall not be moved. We've been joined by our Robert. Evening, Robert.
Evening, Oxshire, Bridgeman, young Robert and Stuart. I will definitely not be moved. Good evening, guys. Listen, I've got a wee question for you, right? And you are talking about how many we're going to bring in. So this is a question I'm going to ask you for you, and I'd like to start off with the senior citizen, Mr. Bridgeman, because he kind of touched on it about 10 minutes ago. Bridgeman, I'd like to ask you a wee question here. Now, just say for talking sakes, we bring in the boy Mohamed Diaby. I think that's how you say it, because it looks like we're going to bring this boy in, right? Just say, for instance, we bring him in the next couple of days, Bridgeman, and that's it. We don't bring anyone else in. The window shuts next Wednesday, and we've brought in two players, Silva and the boy Diaby. Bridgeman, hand in heart, do you think if that's the only business we do, this squad can win the league?
Personally speaking, I don't think so. I think the manager would have to, shall we say, do a miracle where the players. He's already done a miracle with the players to keep us going this far. But I think he'd need to do another miracle just to get some of these guys, to get them playing to any type of form at all. Miracles do happen, of course, we believe. But I agree with you, Robert. I think it's going to be extremely difficult to say we're going to go from now to the end of the season and pick up enough points in some really, really seriously big games against them across the city. Massive games. Every game's going to be massive. So, and I don't really think so. I think we need to bring in, in my opinion, another two. And that's on top of the young lad that comes in. Another two.
Yep.
I'll go next, Robert, if you want, yeah?
Yeah, please, Oxshire, please.
Yeah, I think the manager coming in, he seems to have a knack and a level of consistency. We've dropped 5 points since he's been a manager. A draw away at Pataudry, and again, we had enough chances to win, if we're being honest, yeah? And obviously the controversy at their place, which could have panned out as a draw quite easily. Yeah, so I do believe that if the players get a bit between their teeth, they have got there's nothing to fear for any team in Scotland in a one-off game. So one game becomes 2 games. Hopefully that's the next 2 games, and that's 22 points. Obviously they're playing Saturday afternoon, but it could go back to 5, but we've got a game in hand, and we just keep winning games, and we'll put 3 out of 4 league games will be away to Parkhead, away to Eastern Road, away to Love Street on Newsomburn Park. That'll be 3 out of 4 games, and then if the fixtures get favourable for us, we start building a run. That's without signing anybody, Robert. I think this squad's got the ability to do it. It's whether they've got the attitude, and then it could come down to a shootout at Ibrox, and we're due to beat them at Ibrox, and I do believe with this manager we could do it. Robert, then Stuart.
Yeah, I believe as well, Ox. What he's done with the squad that he's had before he's brought in Silva and obviously this young boy we're talking about, he's got a tune out of them, and it's a tune that we didn't expect to see. So he's had a massive influence and turnaround with their performance, and you said attitude. We've saw attitude and a different approach to games, and if we can maintain that throughout now until the end of the season, if it is only the two we sign, then I think he will deliver success for the club. I think it's just how much of an impact he's had in such a short space of time can only suggest more success in a prolonged period of time. I know, obviously, the firepower up front might not be there, obviously just with Dessers as the only striker, but still to see what Silva can really bring. So if Silva can add goals to the team, other players start contributing, I believe we can get that with the two signings.
Stuart?
I agree. I think that we've got the capability to put it into a 2-game season, for want of a better words, at Ibrox and at Parkhead. I think if it's got to come down to that, I mean, I call it we're at the who's going to blink first stage, and we're at that stage on Wednesday. We could claw back a few points there, then you start to just create that wee bit of doubt, and things happen. You just don't know what's going to happen. It's not going to be smooth sailing by any means. There might be points dropped, but if you get yourself on a wee run against the teams below you, below the first two, and then you're putting yourself in a position where you're coming to Ibrox, and if you win, you're kind of top of the league, all the games are played. That's quite psychological, and I mean, you wouldn't be wanting to no blink first when the big fool's eyes are staring into you. You just got that steely look about him. And he's putting that steely look into the players as well, the attitude. I've heard attitude talking is one of the big things over the last 10 months. Attitude, it's lifted the players up a bit. So starting on Wednesday, Leigh's been a marker. And is it Livingston at the weekend? I can't remember.
St Mirren.
St Mirren at the weekend, St Mirren at the weekend, which is fine. Good parking that as well, quite happy with that. So if you get they two at the road, it keeps them out in the pressure. They've not had a lot of pressure on them the last 2 or 3 years. And once you really get into them, I've heard what you said, like say at Ibrox, we've got that goal chalked off. Never should have been chalked off in a million years. We've got a daft goal against us. That part here, it could have been a draw quite easily. And we weren't at our best, let's be honest about it. We weren't at our best. We're a lot better placed now, I feel, going into this next phase than what we were when they started. And we didn't do too bad when they started. The new manager bounced. But the new manager bounces, keep on bouncing. It's not going to just fade. So it's going to keep going. So honestly, I feel really confident. More so than I have for a long time.
I understand your concerns, Robert, about winning every game. I'm not saying we're going to win every game for the end of the season. That's a tall order in any league. But if you take one game at a time, if we play at Easter Road, we win. If we play at St Mirren, we win. So it's all about attitude, mate, and hopefully this guy can get it right. What's your thinking, mate?
Right, Oxford, this is what I'm thinking, right, and I'll get the negatives out the way first, and then I'll get the positive, because I'm just going to call it as I see it, right? And I'm with Bridgeman. I think if we bring this boy in the next couple of days and we don't bring anybody else in, I don't think we can win the league, and I'm being honest, right? And the reason for that is, Oxford, and you touched on it tonight, pal, and you've been touching on it for a long, long time on Rangers Radio. Who's going to put the ball in the back of the net? Where are we getting the goals for? Because I'm sorry, and I know he's in double figures, but he should be on at least 20 goals in my opinion, and we're talking about Dessers. That guy should have had at least 4 goals in the first half of that game on Sunday. And I'm not giving it all this about the state of the pitch and the weather. We created clear-cut chances and he couldn't score them. He got one right, but he should have had 4. And I'm sorry, that is not good enough as a Rangers striker. And not only as a Rangers striker, we paid £4 million for this guy, and he's probably on about 28 to 30 grand a week. See, we got him for nothing, and he was on 10 grand, then I could maybe understand a wee bit. And I don't want to just pick on the boy, because I know he gives his all. I know he tries his all. When he misses a chance, he's there for the next chance. But he's not good enough for our club, and that's just my opinion. Now, where the positives are going to come in, and please, Rangers, going to find it, the money or whatever, if you can, and go out tomorrow and bring in Warren Shanklin, because that's the positive to me. See, if we sign Warren Shanklin tomorrow, I'm very confident we'll win on Wednesday. If we don't, I've got a wee worry about Wednesday. So that's the difference to me. If we bring in Warren Shanklin, along with this other boy, Diaby, I think then we've got a real good chance of winning the league. That could be the difference, and that's my thoughts on it, Oxford.
I'm not saying we don't need a forward player in, Robert. I'm not saying that at all. You know, and if you can make the deal, and we could do with a centre forward because we're really short there, young Robert, yeah, that would help us. I'm just saying, with what we've got to do without any changes, in a man-to-man match was good enough to see off anybody in Scotland. Young Robert, but we do need a striker.
Yeah, we certainly do need the more firepower up front, and certainly something a bit more clinical than Dessers. It's quite a heavy task to be the number 9 at Rangers, as we know. But there's a lot of pressures, a lot of expectation, and if you're a striker that's not scoring goals consistently, you do have that target on your back. That's how I am hoping that Silva can get goals to his game. We've got goals from Tavernier. He gets what, I think it's 17 for the season. He's got. It is about other players bringing goals in. Seamer's get 15 for the season, so other players like Cantwell's getting more goals. McCausland even adding goals to his game. Made it a whole team effort. It's not just relied on in one position, but certainly a bit more firepower up front would not go amiss, especially the fact that Danilo seems to be season almost over. I think he's back near the end of the season, so that is certainly an area of concern. And if we do need goals, we'd certainly go and get a striker for it, because goals does win you games. And by winning games, you win titles.
Man. I'm interested to see it pans out. I get Robert's thoughts about the striker. I mean, I don't know if it's a red herring with Shanklin. We've heard various bits and pieces over the last few weeks, but there's not a great deal of noise coming out of the club, so it's watch this space. But as long as the manager's happy, Stuart.
Aye, I mean, I've no objections to Shanklin. I think it would be an asset to the team. I think he could make a wee bit of a difference, especially what he's achieved there this season in particular. So I think he could come in and hit the ground running. The biggest thing for me is, it's not his age, but it's the money you would pay for that age. Hearts are trying to head out for 3-4 million. It's not going to harm. He's not going to pay that for it. I mean, what would be a more reasonable figure? 1.5, 2 million? I don't know. That's what I would be looking at. That would be a no-brainer. If you had him for 2 or 3 years, and you could probably go back to a Hearts or something for 500,000, a million quid. He's had a bit of use of him. But he might hear something else up his sleeve. I wouldn't have put it past the big guy. And as you say, whatever he brings in, I've been happy with everything that he's done. I've not been saying, oh God. I've maybe been a bit unhappy about tactics. I would like to try and see us changing tactics a wee bit to suit the low block, just to change it about a bit. And tactics like there's what happened against Dumbarton. Cantwell takes the corner, kind of in-swinger to the near post, header, back post, bang, it's in the net. So their tactics, the outswingers should change a lot, especially with that bloody wind that was gone. I mean, the ball would virtually go in itself. You know what I'm saying? The keepers hate the kind of balls on top of them. Unless, I mean, there are no lot of keepers like Butland that's confident in the air. And so you see a lot of keepers coming out, like what happened with McCrory. They get hesitant and they come out and the ball goes over them, type of thing, you know. So I just think that Shanklin be a good asset, but let's get him for the right price. Let's not be done in. And I think he's looking at things, but I hope that they get a striker, because that would cement it for me. I'm still confident anyway.
I will see what it takes us on that one, Robert. I mean, you never know. Mr. Clement and his staff could be playing a blinder, you know.
Exactly, Oxter. And listen, I've said this on Rangers Radio a few times. I feel our manager's hands are tied behind his back, and I really do. I think he's a really crack manager. I listened to wee Barry Ferguson tonight, and he spent a bit of time with him. He says, "Oh, Rangers are on to a winner with him." But Oxter, we've got to back him. And Stuart, can I just answer just what you said there, pal? Stuart, you've got to speculate to accumulate. So I think I am not saying pay 5 million from, but Stuart, we've got to at least offer 3 million, test the water with Hearts. And if we don't get him, at least we're trying to get him, because that's the difference, Stuart. There's a £40 million carrot dangling in front of us. And I believe if we bring Lawrence Shanklin in, now he doesn't need time to settle in. And it's not just about this, oh, he's one of us, but that does help. Of course it does help, he's one of us. But He'll no need time to settle in, and I'm sure the chances that we create, he will score. And Stuart, you're not telling me if we had Lawrence Shankland doing at the Piggery on the 30th of December, Rangers wouldn't have come away with at least a draw, because they would have, and they might have come away with 3 points. And that's the difference. That's what I'm trying to say here is, Big Dessers will miss Saturday after Saturday, and no doubt we'll create chances on Wednesday, and he'll miss them again. But would Lawrence Shankland miss these chances? I don't think so, and that's how I think we've got to do everything to try and get him. And if we don't get him, at least we've made the effort, and the Rangers fans will realise that. But it just seems to be that, I don't know, but maybe they're behind the scenes, but I know I've talked to a lot of Rangers fans, and they're all so frustrated with this window so far. They're all so frustrated, and I keep saying to them, look, take time, we've still got another week and a half, so I think we've got to do everything to try and get Shankland. And if we can't get him, we need to get a striker, no matter what. We need to get somebody that can score. Because the boy Silver's admitted himself, he's not a goal scorer. He actually came out and he says it, didn't he? He's not a striker.
He doesn't look like a number 9, does he?
No?
No. You know, he looks as if he's somebody who wants to make things happen. You know, rather than eat the end of crosses, etc. He'd be rather out working and putting in. It looks as if he's got a touch. My initial thoughts. The jury's still out, but I don't disagree with you, Robert. We could do with a striker in, because obviously Neil was injured, Kiva Roof's injured. We're really short, and that's fact, Bridge. We can't avoid it.
Yeah, I think Robert's saying some good things there, and I do agree with him. We know what's going to happen. We know, shall we say, hamstringing the manager. We get past this date, end of this month, and we don't sign someone else, you know. And that may be the only thing we can do is just go on and take the manager and let the manager run with it, and we get every other way back him. But really and truly, and apart from Robert saying about bringing in Shankland, as you know, I'm not necessarily keen on him. I'm just not keen on Keen Hearts any money or any other team any money. My honest opinion is we need to go and do what we've done. If we've got this laddie for Sweden, Norway, wherever he's from, then I think that's where we should go and get more to other places. No Scotland. Not for me anyway, so you guys are right. But as I said before, if he comes in, and if we pay the money, he comes in, and you got to support him because he's a Ranger.
That's well put, Bridge. You've been consistent in your argument. I don't always agree because I don't think you should cut off your nose to spite your face, but I admire your principles. It'll be interesting. I'll be interested to see if anything happens this week. I'm beginning to think, and I've nothing to back this up, Robert, just a gut. I'm thinking that there might be looking elsewhere.
No, listen, do you know what? I've actually been thinking about that the last couple of days as well, Oxford. And don't get me wrong, a Big Phil has got something up his sleeve and he can go there and they bring in a guy, whether it's a former, an English boy or whatever, and he does the business, then fair enough. But we all know it. We need a striker. And most of us do want Lawrence Shankland because we know that he'll date for us. But if Big Phil's got something up his sleeve, because I do trust in Big Phil. I love the way Oxford, do you know what? I love the way he came out the other day and he said, we're not the richest club in the world. Now, Oxford, I don't know reading between the lines. I hope I'm wrong. If it's that him telling us we've not got any money at all to spend, because I don't want to think that way. I was told
you've got to remember what we spent in the summer, Robert.
I know. No, listen to Oxford, and I do understand this fair play thing, because I was watching Sky tonight and they're talking about Newcastle having to sell players like Almiron. They were talking about Newcastle selling Almiron, Trippier and Callum Wilson to balance the book. And I do understand that, Oxford. I do understand that, but come on.
Try to get rid of the bridge money to Sky for years. For years on the bridge. We've had the deal done many times.
I'm not going.
Bridgeman, if you get rid of Bridgeman, you've as well ending the show. There you go.
I agree. We've had the deal done so many times, but he'll no sign.
That's a shocker, isn't it? Absolute shocker, boy.
No, but Oxford, tell me this. On your hand and heart, Oxford, between now and is it next Wednesday, the Wednesday shuts, what do you think will happen between now and next Wednesday?
I think they might have another forward player coming in, and obviously it looks as if Dion Mandy, I hope I pronounced that right, is coming in.
Yeah.
He's been in today, but maybe tomorrow now. He's passed his medical, so he's just coming in to do the PR. It might even be Thursday, mate, because they might want to get Wednesday out the way once you get to tomorrow and focus everything on the game at Easter Road, because he's not going to be playing Dion Mandy. Young Robert?
I certainly do think a striker will come in, Ox, between now and Wednesday. Again, we'll sit and speculate until the window shuts about who it is going to be, whether it's going to be Shankland or someone elsewhere. For me personally, given that at this late stage of the window, it would suggest to me that he is looking elsewhere, but that's not to say that he does pull a rabbit out of the hat and he does get Shankland. It could just be one of those negotiations with Hearts that seems to be taking a bit of time, and if that's what it is, then albeit. But ultimately, as Robert says, we need a striker that can be consistent, gets us the goals, that wins us the games, and gets us the trophies at the end of the day. The only thing I can think on Ox is if we don't get a striker in, we've seen ourselves in this position before, where if an injury to Dessers happens, we're in the position where we don't have that natural striker. It was the same in the European campaign. We got to Seville with no striker, and we don't want to be in that position again. We don't want to be relying on a false nine or somebody that can play a bit more forward. So a natural out-and-out goal scorer. And for me, if it is Shankland, you go with 3 million, you win the league, you get that 40 million that Robert says the Champions League money, you've made your money back right away. And it's somebody that knows the league, knows the teams you're going to come up against, and gets you the goals ultimately.
Mm-hmm. I get it, and 3 million in modern football ain't a lot, Robert. But, it's 3% of your turnover plus wages, roughly. And obviously you'll get a massive wage increase. He's 29 years of age, so there's no selling value. I just hope we just did the deal properly. Lawrence Shankland ticks a lot of boxes because he knows the league, he scores goals. Is he a guaranteed success? I don't know if he is, mate. I don't know if he is. But he ticks a lot of boxes. Robert, then Stuart.
Of course he ticks a lot of boxes, Oxford. And Oxford, I don't think you're not going to give him 30 grand a week. I think you're going to get him a lot cheaper than that, to be honest with you. And of course, no signing is guaranteed, but he knows the Scottish game. Oxford, he scored against us. He scored against him and every other team. He scored in Europe for Hearts. He's a captain. So I think it's a no-brainer. I just think it's a no-brainer. And I think, see, the biggest thing about the whole situation about Lawrence Shankland, what a lift that would give us Rangers fans. Could you imagine him signing tomorrow and making it that game Wednesday against Hibs? What a lift that gives to not just your squad, but to us as Rangers fans to say. And that's the big thing about it with me is, come on, Rangers, please get the finger out and get the boy in. He's one of us. He wants to play for us. He doesn't want to go anywhere else. Because I've been told he's not paying back. Rodgers did make an inquiry about him, and his agent told him straight, there's no way he'll sign for you. So come on, Rangers, get Lawrence Shankland into our club, and let's go for 56. That's all I'm saying.
I hope you're right. I hope he does. Stuart?
I mean, I heard Robert earlier talk about Shankland getting this 40. Absolutely. I mean, I did disagree with him. The thing that just worried me is if Hearts are trying to jack the price up, waiting to the end, who's got to blink first type of thing. But I think Shankland sort of sent them a message with this nonsense about he had the call on whenever he couldn't play. That's just nonsense. You know what that was for? I'm going to be controversial here. I'm going to say that we'll get 2 strikers in. There you go. Shankland and a loanee. Because you heard what Clement says. I don't know where I read it or seen it. He wouldn't be unhappy if Dessers went out on loan somewhere. So I think he needs to take the guy out of the limelight, and he might bring in a loanee kind of player. So there you would have 2 strikers. I know it's a 33-1 shot in a sort of 2-horse race, but he's got to pull something out of the heart, and I'm telling you, like say guys like Robert there talking about Shankland, I could see Shankland coming in, Dessers moving out somewhere, like what he did. I mean, nobody ever thought Lammers would go out, let's be honest about it, and he's doing no bad. Dessers could be the same, the shirt's too heavy for him. Bring a boy like Shankland in, he's a Rangers man, he's just to the league, he'll not be fazed by it, so a great addition with another guy, kind of under the radar type of boy, where Desser's full on the radar, he can't cope with it. In front of goal, he's a bomb scare. So get Shankland in, he'll put the ball in the net with another guy, just sort of, I think he's got to go down that kind of route. I really feel it, if he could get him for the right money.
Watch this space, it's going to be interesting. Look, Fox has made a good point in the background there. Surely the director of football's bringing in the player I would like to think with the support and the agreement of Philip Clement, young Robert, then more mature Robert. There's words I never thought I'd say.
Well, when Fabio Silva signed Ox, I said that it was quite an interesting one because he was obviously at loan at PSV, where Nils Koppen, the director of football, was previously, and that to me made a bit of sense that he'd worked on the deal to get Silva to go there, and then obviously worked with Clement to get him to Rangers. And Clement made a point the other day in an interview when he said if he could afford it, he would have signed Silva permanently. So that suggests that the manager and the director of football have a clear understanding about what kind of player they want to bring into our club, and they can see the potential, they can see how they improve and develop these players, but also improve the squad and have them as these assets that the player trading model can be. But ultimately, before the trading model begins, we need success, and if that's the type of player that they want to bring in, then certainly the director of football will have a list as well as a manager, and it's about dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and getting them on the dotted line, whoever it is, Shankland or somewhere else.
Another. Robert?
No, I remember their manager come in, I hope I'm right when I say this, and he said he doesn't pick the players, he just works for them. I think Big Phil said that when he comes in, but I'd like to think, because Big Phil's proved, you know what I mean, he's the main man at Ibrox, let's be honest about it, he is a main man, he speaks so well, he's a cracking manager, and I would like to think he does have a big influence in who we bring in. So all I'm saying is, please, the Rangers board, please, and we have made mistakes, let's no kid on the Beale, and I don't want to go down that road because it really angers me if I really think about it, and it really upsets me. But please, back this man as much as you can. We know we've got the fair play to take into consideration, but back this man, because I think we're on Oxford, I think we're on a winner with this man. I really do.
He's got something about him, mate. He's got something about him. I can't put my finger on it. He shoots for a hip. He doesn't stand fools gladly, mate. He seems to have demand minimum of work ethic for the players. He's not frightened to make big calls, i.e. when they broke Cadwell, and there's just something about him. He's experienced. He's played at international level. You know, so he ticks loads of boxes. But listen, I want him, along with the director of football, to make sure he gets the players that he wants to build his team. Then we can really judge him. You know, I know it's not perfect. You don't always get your first choices, but you know, it doesn't. Football's not like that, because the other club might agree, but the guy might not want to come. Joe Bloggs might not want to come, man.
I know, but Oxford, do you not feel a wee bit sorry for him, because the manager did come out a few weeks ago and said, I'll give you an example, young Ross McCausland, who's done brilliant, let's be honest about it, we boys done well, but the manager did come out and say he'll not be playing three games a week, and look at it, young Ross McCausland's had to play 3 games a week because of all the injuries we keep getting, and I really feel for our manager. He isn't getting a break there. Seamer now could be out for 2 weeks, I don't know, 8 weeks, and I hope his country's picking up the bill for him going to be out, but it's no Rangers. But I just feel our manager isn't getting a break, and it's quite sad, to be honest with you. I'd love them to have an even playing field against that Rodgers. That's what I would want. Big Salt to have an even playing field against him, and then we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. I could come down to that, mate. You know, the fixtures, two teams could go on a good run, but they might know. It's up to us to put the pressure on them starting by Wednesday, Bridgeman.
100%. It's everything's in our court now. We have to go forward, lift our feet and go forward and keep your head held high. And be the Rangers, play like the Rangers the best you can and go out and do it. And we can't do anything wrong, shall we say, by doing what we've done. Good habits, do what you always do. But so we have to watch what we're doing, watch our P's and Q's. And this young lad that we're going to bring in, and sign him on, is he going to play on Wednesday? Is he throwing him in?
I wouldn't have thought so, but
no, I wouldn't either. But you know, you just don't know what the manager will do. A quick introduction, let him do it. You know, I don't know. But you know, he's the manager.
He might come out and give you a wave, yeah.
Well, there we go. That's what you want, you know. I love to see all that. These are us getting through the cup game there. That was a shocking weather to be playing football. Really shocking. And now we're going to play against Hibs, another team that love us. Just can't stand us. It's the truth be told. But we've got to play against them and do the business. We have to do the business. Come on, Rangers, let's get into them, please.
Yeah, Stuart.
I mean, just listening to the guys, a lot of good points. I mean, I like what's going on behind the scenes, and I think that's important for going forward. And I think Phil's is why these kind of high achievers is wanting to achieve a lot with Rangers. And let's be honest about it, if he's successful at Rangers, people are going to be looking for him, which is fine. All we want is a couple of years, 2 or 3 years of good success, a couple of titles wouldn't go amiss. So I still feel confident enough. I don't think that if they sign the young guy, it will play. Would maybe, as you say, get a wee wave. You know, you can get 10 minutes. But I think they've still got the players to take it. And as it cranks up towards the end of the month, there'll be a couple of sort of stings in the tail, which will put a smile on all their faces, I think. Because we're all quite happy with what the man's doing, and we've got faith in him, if you know what I mean. I don't think we had faith in the last man, even though some of them were bringing in. Their records didn't show a lot goal scoring wise when you looked at like the Shankland up the road. It just makes you scratch your head. That was a mistake by the board at the time, if you like. I think they've realised that. They've put measures in place. Seem to have a good scouting system. This guy, I'm really confident of this guy, the ex-PSV type of boy. There's a lot of hidden sort of gems there, that neck of the woods. You came where they are, so future's looking good. As you say, Bridge says there, Wednesday, I'm quite confident. Come on, Gers, basically.
Big game, man. It'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. I'm looking forward to Wednesday. It feels like a real game. Robert, then young Robert.
Oh, I definitely can't wait. But also, can you just confirm something? Because I heard you talking earlier on tonight. Is Big Leon Balogun available for Wednesday?
I'll pass you to my suspension expert, Robert.
Well, I actually thought he was suspended for the Dumbarton game. But then, did he feature in the game at Ibrox against Kilmarnock? Was that after the Celtic game?
No, you automatically missed the next one, didn't you?
If he didn't feature there, then I think his suspension would then be served. Again, it was a straight red, wasn't it? So just a one game ban. So if he did serve the Kilmarnock game, then he's available. If not, then he would be missing.
Yeah, because Robert, I heard Barry Ferguson the night speaking, and they asked him his team, and they put Leon Balogun in his team alongside John Suter. So I take it Big Balogun is available, and I hope he is, because I think Big Balogun's been brilliant this season. I'm a big Big Balogun. I'm with Bridge, man. I'm a fan of get a guy in at 6'4" that can header a ball for his own penalty spot to the halfway line, the way Big Marvin Andrews used to do, and that's what I want in a Rangers centre back.
All right, Robert, we've reached that time of the evening. Great to hear from you as always, mate.
No, thanks, Oxford. Thanks for taking my call. Now, I wanted to come on the night support Rangers Radio because it is a cracking platform, and I wish more people would call in because that's what it's all about. It's a phone-in show, so come on, you Rangers fans, start calling in and support this great show. Thanks, Oxford, Bridgeman, Stuart, and young Robert for taking my call.
Cheers, Robert.
And come on, the Rangers. We'll win in Wednesday night. Come on, the Rangers.
On yourself,
Thanks,
Robert. On yourself.
Thanks, Bridgeman. Good night, guys.
Bye, Robert. Cheers.
Top man, Robert. Stuart.
I'll get away now, Ox, as well. I think Robert's sentiments exactly. Enjoyed it. Good listening, like listening to it. A lot of guys like listening to it out there. So a lot of good points, and that's what we want. We want diverse points. I mean, Robert had a wee bit of a different opinion. He's got strong views on certain things. I've got kind of my own views on certain things. I'm always waiting for something different to happen. So it's all looking good, guys. Let's be honest about it. So onwards and upwards, and catch you later on, Cheers.
Cheers, Stuart. Young Robert.
Great show again tonight, Ox. Enjoyed that one. Good to on with yourself again, and the legend Bridgeman. A lot of good points. A big 10 days coming up for the club. Games, transfers. Let's see where it takes us. But first of all, let's get the 3 points on Wednesday. Come on, the Rangers.
Here, mate. Here. Bridgeman.
Oh, fantastic night tonight, Oxford. Thank you very much. Well done to yourself, and a big shout out to your two guys in the background. Tremendous show. Really enjoyed it, and young Robert for helping to carry me through. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans listening in here on Rangers Radio, please, every single one is from all over the world. Remember, all over the world. So please, with a massive game, biggest game of the season coming up, and everybody get in your heart and all the Rangers, obviously, and keep it going for them because the Rangers really need us, really do. Keep it going.
Okay, I thank Stuart and Robert for joining us on the phones. Young Robert and Brisbane for doing the show. Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals in the background. Everybody for listening to Rangers Radio. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10, talking about all things Rangers. And you might just think it's Wednesday tomorrow. Take it away, Old School Blue.